8. Lane 1, Gonzaga. Lane 2, Santa Clara. Lane 3, University of San Diego. Lane 4, Santa Clara B. Lane 5, UC Davis. So in this race, we have 2 crews from the University of Santa Clara, Lane 2 and Lane 4. They're A crew in 2, they're B crew in 4. Gonzaga in 1, San Diego in 3, and UC Davis in 5. These crews have not raced. They didn't race yesterday, so this is their first race of the regatta, a straight final. Coming in to receive their medals is the crew from Western Washington in the women's D2, D3 and club championship. Okay, being pushed out, the winners, Western Washington of the D2, D3 and Club 8. Okay, sorry to have to ask again, but if crews could not stop on the finish line, potentially interferes with the finish link system. So either back it down or move past the finish line, please. As they move past the 1,000 meter mark, it appears that it is Santa Clara A who have a lead over Gonzaga. Okay, they've moved past the 500. They're closing in on the 250 to go, and it is the crew from Santa Clara, who have a lead of about less than that, third of a length, if anything, over Gonzaga in lane 1. Then it's a tight tussle between the University of San Diego and Santa Clara for third spot at this point. Actually, it's the crew from Santa Clara, the Santa Clara B crew, that are still in the mix for this race. It's their A crew in lane 2, who have a lead of about 3/4 of a length over Gonzaga. But the Santa Clara B crew are still in touch. So as they come to the line, it's Santa Clara, Gonzaga, Santa Clara B. So unofficially, Santa Clara A, Gonzaga, Santa Clara B, San Diego. I'm informed that UC Davis did not start. That was the final of the men's second varsity 8. We have the women's second varsity 8, which has started. In lane 1, San Diego. In lane 2, Sacramento State. In lane 3, UC San Diego. In lane 4, Seattle. And in lane 5, St. Mary's. This is the women's second varsity 8. These crews did not race yesterday. This is a straight final. No heats yesterday, so this is their first showing at this regatta. Okay, approaching the 1,000 meter mark, and it's the crew from the University of San Diego who have established the lead at this point. So University of San Diego have some open water on Sacramento State in lane 2. UC San Diego are overlapping Sacramento State. Those three crews have broken away from Seattle and St. Mary's. And it is Seattle who have a lead of about 3/4 of a length over St. Mary's for 4th place. In echelon across the course as they move past the 1,000. It is University of San Diego who have a couple of feet of clear water over Sacramento State, with UC San Diego still overlapping Sacramento State. It is University of San Diego with a higher stroke cadence than their competitors, who are starting to ease away now. They have a lead now of about 1.25 lengths over Sacramento State in lane 2, and UC San Diego still overlapping with Sacramento State, although it is nearly clear water between those two. Sacramento State chasing hard to keep University of San Diego in their sights. But as we move through the 500 meter mark, it is now a reasonably comfortable lead for University of San Diego. They can afford to just sit there at the front of the race, watch their moves from the opposition. And it is still quite tight between Sacramento State and UC San Diego. UC San Diego pushed back on Sacramento State a little bit, but Sacramento State are holding that lead. They're past the fishing dock, which is about 350 to go. And every stroke, University of San Diego are moving away from their competitors. So University of San Diego have a lead of about nearly 2 lengths over Sacramento State, with UC San Diego hot on Sacramento State's tail. Out on the far side, it is Seattle who are holding off the challenge from St. Mary's for 4th place. About 100 meters to go. It is San Diego, Sacramento State, and the fast finishing UC San Diego. Over on the far side, Seattle University still holding off St. Mary's. Unofficially, San Diego, Sac State, UC San Diego, Seattle, and St. Mary's. The women's second varsity 8. Next up at 9:10 is the women's second varsity 8, or is the women's second varsity D2, D3 and club. This is being contested by Seattle Pacific, who are Division 2, Pacific Lutheran, who are Division 3, and Lewis and Clark, who are Division 3. The second varsity 8 of the D2, D3 and club at 9:10. These crews also will be racing for the first time at this regatta. They did not race yesterday. On the race course at the moment, we have the women's D2, D3 second varsity. And leading the race at the moment is the D2 school, Seattle Pacific. And then it's very tight for second place between the two Division 3 schools, Pacific Lutheran and Lewis and Clark. Pacific Lutheran just have a slight lead over Lewis and Clark at this point. They're moving. They're in the last 500 at this point, coming up to about 350 to go. Seattle Pacific have a significant lead over Pacific Lutheran and Lewis and Clark. With about 250 to go, Seattle Pacific have a lead of several lengths over Pacific Lutheran and Lewis and Clark. Pacific Lutheran are easing out feet by feet over the crew from Lewis and Clark. Lewis and Clark just have overlap still, I believe. Coming down to the line, comfortable win for Seattle Pacific, the Division 2 school, and then the two Division 3 rivals still duking it out for second place. Pacific Lutheran in lane 2 and Lewis and Clark in lane 3. Unofficially, the final of the women's second varsity in D2, D3 and club, Seattle Pacific, Pacific Lutheran and Lewis and Clark. Next race up in about a minute is the petite final of the men's novice 8. Lane 1, UC Irvine. Lane 2, Western Washington. Lane 3, UC Santa Barbara. Lane 4, San Diego State. Lane 5, Arizona State. Lane 6, Oregon.